Mikey. Happy Tuesday.
Hell yeah, Gabe.
Another game-winning drive. I feel like all the Survivor contests on Earth that started at the beginning of the year are all done, except for Circa Survivor.
Except for one, very important one.
Yes, and this past week, no one got knocked out. All 10 people made it through on their big favorites, but it seems like the values definitely got shifted around compared to last week. Last week, Mikey, we put out the appraisals after our episode. It was a lot of stuff to talk about, which entry is worth the most, what are the bad entries worth, what are the good entries worth.
Yeah.
And after a few days of talking to people, I feel like I had a pretty good idea where everyone was at. But this past weekend, with the Mahomes, him gone, that shakes things up. The Phillip Rivers stuff shakes stuff up. Jaden Daniels. There's a lot of uncertainty on these teams, and we're going to put out appraisals again, and maybe today, maybe tomorrow, but it's hard figuring out. There's a lot of stuff to consider for who's going to be trying and who's going to be resting on these Week 18. And
I mean, I feel like you're hitting like 19 different topics.
Dude.
Each one requires a little bit more involvement and discussion.
Hey, thank you for bringing that in. So let's
go back to front. You finished with teams that are essentially the difference between teams that are giving up, teams that are still fighting, teams that are in, teams that are out, all of those things. And there's different categories for sure. And like an example with two different teams in the same position but taking different approaches is our favorite, the Commanders. Sitting, their starting quarterback, and not necessarily due to injury, though I guess that can be debated. But in my opinion, doing the right thing. Because ultimately your goal each year is to win a Super Bowl. So doing what is best towards that end is what you want to be doing. And I don't see, like, people have to weigh the benefit of the experience Jaden Daniels gains in the final 3 games with the chance of suffering an injury. And
yeah, but what about just that kind of proposition ignores just the entertainment value? Fans want to see him in because it's cooler than when he's not in.
Yeah, but fans aren't making the decision, brother.
I'm just saying the league's gotta respect the fans. It can't just every time a team gets eliminated, all their stars just don't play the rest of the year, right?
That's where I disagree. Like, I've been a huge proponent of, like, especially even when you're like, one of the ways that I see this play out that boggles my mind is, like, let's say a team's up like 40-7 at the start of the fourth quarter. I think they should begin by taking a knee all 4 downs.
Why is that? Why do you say that?
Because you've mathematically guaranteed essentially that you've won the game. And so running, just running it out by, like, literally handing the ball off, and, somebody can trip and fall and roll their ankle or who knows what. So, like, it's always blew my mind that people don't just kneel the ball in situations like that.
Right. We haven't seen that with like 5 minutes left in the game.
Yeah.
Offense leading just goes, we're going 3 kneel downs and punt. Like,
yeah, we're done. Or 3 kneel downs, take a safety. Like, go to the extreme. Your goal is to win the game and protect your players for the next game.
Hey, when you first started going down this, I thought you were going to say about a team should just start tanking like as soon as they have a losing record. But you're saying like mid-game.
Yeah.
The mid-game give up doesn't happen at the appropriate frequencies.
Yeah. And, like, always try to go for the comeback for sure until you're, like, literally mathematically out of it, like that you don't have timeouts and you can't stop the clock or something. But, like,
we did see the backup quarterbacks go in in these big favorite games this past week, though, right? Like,
Yeah.
so they were, I think Hurts got to take a seat. Trevor Lawrence didn't he? Trevor Lawrence got to hit the showers early. That's
He
kind of rare
he
for him.
there was I know we steer clear of fantasy talk, but this was the first week of the playoffs and we weren't facing him, but he put up like 54 points or something like that. I think that's the
Yeah.
season high.
Yeah, some people really broke the points this weekend. I think, or just throwing this out there, I know we're supposed to be talking about Survivor, but
Sure.
when it comes to tanking, I feel like, there's some fans who love tanking and love thinking they figured out that the team should tank before everyone else, right? I don't care about the wins. I just want a good draft pick. But I
Yeah.
think the teams that are like have no hope at quarterback need to be drafting quarterbacks high, and it's like it may be smart for them, but anyone with a quarterback thinking about their draft position, it's kind of tired. Like Cam Ward in Tennessee, you don't need another quarterback for a few years. Like you don't need to worry about thinking.
I think that's really true, and I would agree wholeheartedly with that. Like, if you're in the situation where one player is not going to make or break you, like, I don't even really know the prospects, but like, if you're not essentially if you're not taking a quarterback, you're going to get the best offensive lineman or the best linebacker, whatever it is. Take your pick. If you're not going quarterback, going from like 6 to 9 is like, not the end of the world.
Right. It matters, but like you don't got to lose games for it, right?
Right. And so I didn't finish my point that the Commanders are one side of the equation where they're, essentially content with maybe giving up isn't necessarily the right word because the players certainly aren't going to give up. They're playing for something, but like, and then on the other hand is the Bengals. They're out of it and they're playing Joe Burrow. Like they have stated they want to win. So like those are two different approaches. And like as we get closer to week 18, but it's going to have effects on like week 16, 17, and 18 for sure. If a team is like expressly not trying, how is that going to impact both the line and like just your general approach to these games?
Yeah. Hey, so one thing I thought of is that the Washington situation, Mariota is like he's been the same amount efficient as Daniels this year,
if not better. If not better.
Yeah, so that's like it's not even like they're making a sad like surrender. Oh, the season's gone. Like they're just like, no, we'll let the older dude play for a while, and he'll take if someone gets their bell rung, it's gonna be him, not our guy Daniels, right? So
right, and he won this weekend, so it's like he's not incapable.
Right, he can move the ball, he can run that option, he can pull the ball and run. Man, he knows how to see it. And the Bengals though. I mean, since they got Flacco, it's kind of a different story where they have a kind of a suitable backup dude, right? Like Flacco was kind of good.
Guy threw for 400 yards earlier in the year.
Yeah. So the Cincinnati too, like, isn't it or 8 of the 10 people in Survivor have Cincinnati available. And I think it makes sense for all of them to play it week 17 or 18, depending on the team. But that could be a pretty big swing. Burrow too. I mean, he just got smoked. He's in there, so like in theory, they're not bad, right? Like, or they're supposed to be competitive, but they did get absolutely smoked with Burrow and Chase. And there's like those two guys are supposed to put up a touchdown at least, right? What was the final score?
24-0, I think, right?
I didn't watch any of that one, so I don't know. But I guess that Cincinnati is, you could kind of see them losing their power going into these last weeks. Just if a few people are over it, don't want to play. Burrow is like all like if you have Cincinnati in your pocket in Survivor and you're watching these Burrow interviews, it might be hard to want to click him on week 17 because he's kind of, what's the word, like jaded, or not jaded, but he's kind of just
checked
disconnected out. Maybe disconnected.
before we go into heavy Survivor stuff, I did want to talk about Phillip Rivers, and I was talking to, this was like maybe Saturday or Friday, I can't remember, but I was talking to friend of the show Jamie about some when it became clear that he was going to start, and they posted his props. It kind of reminded me of the Mayweather versus
McGregor.
McGregor fight, where like every poker player we know put their entire life savings plus some on Mayweather, and I didn't, my conviction wasn't that high, but it was pretty high. Looking at this 44-year-old dude who's like tubby and like, I was just like, is this real? And then I looked at all the props and it was like 158 and a half yards, zero point 0.5 touchdown passes was his total. I'm trying to think. Oh, total attempts, total completions, all his receiver yards. And so I was talking to Jamie and I was like, am I crazy or am I just going to go under on all of these? And so I did it. And I think the only one that I missed was he did throw one touchdown pass. So, every other one was like oh, and I also did Jonathan Taylor over 19 and a half runs or something like that.
Dude, the sports books didn't have a chance against you, Mikey. Dude, you just saw exactly what was going to happen and just pop.
Just shoot up.
Nice. I think, watching that game, it's a big deal, kind of, because it does have Survivor implications going forward with playing San Fran, playing Jacksonville. So I was tuned in, thinking about it, and he, his throws look so ugly now.
He actually performed better than I thought he would, and he still went under all of them.
Yeah, it's something like he can't throw it deep. His ball isn't fast. You got to have the power to throw it past people, right? And
yeah, which is kind of weird. That, like, I don't know. I'm 40, and I don't feel like I've lost ability to, like, on like a tennis serve. I don't feel like I've lost speed on that. But to be fair, he's 4 years older, so maybe maybe we'll return to this clip in 4 years.
And that's a pretty big gap he took. Like, obviously he's active in the game, but I was thinking
he's not like actively lifting weights and stretching every day.
Well, he's doing something right every day. Like, he's with the football team. He's in the locker room every day.
Looks like he's overeating every day.
I was gonna say my read was that, like in major, like pro sports, your brain, you have to be at like game speed in your brain. That's like a huge thing that separates people who are like athletes but who can't make it to the major leagues because their brain can't like keep up, doesn't think as fast. And I was thinking that was going to be the biggest like pain point for him, is just having to think fast. And he did kind of good thinking fast, right? Like,
he didn't turn the ball over. Part he excelled at. Right.
And like sacks, I think he took one sack, and it was kind of like not that bad. Everything else,
like intentional almost,
Yeah, and he made some sweet like reads and change and audibles and threw it real quick. But I think it's hard to win like that when you can't throw it 10 yards or deeper past down the field, right?
Yeah, it changed. I mean, once that became clear, it's like yeah, I don't know. I compare everything to tennis, but it's like if your opponent doesn't have a first serve or a second serve, they're just like lollipopping it in. You can take the serve like 5 feet inside the line, and then it's going to be really hard to win if that's the case.
Are you saying Phillip Rivers was lollipopping?
I am saying that.
Yeah, he probably was. I saw today that Anthony Richardson, he's like cleared to be healthy. I saw a good joke about how they should put them both in the backfield, and then Rivers can like
triple flea flicker.
Yeah, I don't know who you'd rather be against. Like let's say you had $1 million entry. Would you rather be against like the young quarterback who's like got some spunk, but he's can't think and messes up a lot, or Rivers, who
I don't know,
is like savvy veteran, but just cannot. He will not throw the 30-yard pass because it'll just get picked because it'll be in the air for 10 seconds, right?
It feels like Boomer, but like Phillip Rivers is, to me, seems like he's going to keep you in the game. Like he's unlikely to throw some dumb interception. That's what he's going to bring to the table. He's not gonna like, hit some 35-yard seam route either. But I don't know.
Game manager, ultimate game manager.
This fucking thing.
I see. Oh, well, dang, Mikey. Yeah, so definitely some Survivor and Cirque are going to be on San Fran at Indy this week. I'm pretty sure. The lines come out a few hours after we do this show. So when the lines come out in a few hours, we'll have a clear picture of what's going forward, what people pick this week. And we'll start slapping some dollar amounts on all these entries. One of the entries, let's kind of, Mike, now that you're back, let's kind of lean back into some Survivor stuff, man.
Yeah, all right. We've got all our ball talk out of the way. All of our gambling talk.
Oh, there's a lot more ball talk, dude. I got a note right here about the NFL replay system and how it doesn't make sense, dude.
I agree. It feels like haphazard or like helter skelter.
Every time they're like, we just did a quick review and we're just going to handle it like this. Every time that happens, you think in your head, like, what? Like, is this? There's someone like calling reviews when it doesn't seem like it's what we grew up with, so to speak. I don't know.
Good old days bit.
Yeah, back in the good old days, you just relied on the refs, and if people were mad about it, everyone just agreed that the refs were like the worst, right? Which is kind of funny because you remember before replay, like it was as popular then to hate on the refs as it is now. Like this whole replay system hasn't helped the refs like taking heat, right? It's probably made it worse.
But also they don't. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but they don't allow replay of the most important types of fouls. So like, roughing the passer or pass interference, you can't review these calls. So like if somebody baited someone and it looks as if, the hand got around the jersey when it really didn't or something, that's really going to change the entire outcome of a game. And I think that's the whole point of a replay. And so like, yes, it's subjective, but like you could clearly do a replay of a pass interference call and just give it your best shot.
Yeah, man. I feel like we haven't seen the final evolution of these replay, this whole system. It's been going for a while. I mean, when did they start? Like 20 years ago? Has it been happening 20 years?
I assume so.
And the vibe when the refs change it, but the challenge like did or didn't happen, but the refs do the expedited thing. Obviously, the dream world is expedited replay on everything, so that you never miss anything. But it kind of hints that that's possible without actually doing it.
Right, without like fully embracing it. It's kind of like the baseball balls and strikes thing. Like, how long do we need to prove that this is like a viable system? Like, it's clearly there. We're there.
Are you saying umpires are useless now in baseball?
Yeah, for sure. Like, we've run the tests. It's been in minor leagues. You can, and they do the challenge for a pitch call, and it instantly reverses it or does it. I saw this one, and if you you guess it, get it right, you get your challenge back. I saw this clip. It was on Instagram. This one dude was at bat, and umpire called 4 strikes, and the dude reviewed all 4 over the course of his at bat, and all 4 were balls.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good, but I gotta say, if you start taking parts out of baseball, like, oh, we don't need this. Yeah. you might have nothing left by the end of it, man. Like,
the pitch clock, all this stuff. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. There is something to be said for having the manager going jaw to jaw with the umpire, right?
yeah, like, oh, it's just a pitcher versus the camera versus the outfield cameras or something. Baseball doesn't have a lot going for it, dude. I don't know if they can like handle getting the game dissected. Anyway, one thing that's going to affect our numbers tonight, I keep almost starting to talk about this, is Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
He is done, right? He's not coming back week 18 for a courtesy performance. And that's a pretty big deal. Like, they're only 3-point favorites at Tennessee now. And does your ball knowledge brain, Mikey, kind of want to bet Tennessee plus 3.5 at home this week against the Chiefs?
No. So before we, you and I over the weekend went back and forth a little bit on this, but like I think that teams kind of quote unquote bad teams kind of fall into there's 3 categories of bad. One is like your talent. Like if you just have bad players or your players are just worse than the other team. That's one way. The second way is like a morale. So like if you've punted on the season, your owner is looking for a draft pick, your coach is trying new people out or at different positions, that kind of stuff. These are for teams that are clearly out of it. And then the third one is coaching. So like if your coach, maybe your offensive and defensive coordinator are already looking for their next job, that kind of thing, where they're essentially checked out.
Okay.
And so some of those teams have all 3 of those boxes checked. And I think the Titans just so happen to be one of those to check all of those boxes. Like poor players, poor coaching, and morale is generally checked out. I think Washington is an example of like the coaching to me seems still to be there. Morale seems okay, but the players just seem like woefully, skill deficient relative to their opponents. And so Kansas City, yes, they're out of it, but like coaching, arguably top 5 in the league. So that's not going away. I think the coach is still going to win. I think management, morale, I think is probably high on that team. Generally, still want to win. And I think skill is probably still there, even with Mahomes out. So like, I don't know. I think
you said morale is going to be high. You just laid out the whole theory, and then you said morale is high in Kansas City. They just got bounced from the playoffs. They lost their best player. They're sick of Taylor Swift curse, all that stuff, and you're saying they got high morale. I don't see it, Mikey.
Okay, that's fair. I guess I can be talked off of that point, but the other 2 still remain. And so like I think that if you have 2 of 3. And you're being lumped in with the quote unquote bad teams or the teams that are out of it. Those are the teams that I would either try to go for the ones that are only one of the 3 things that are bad and going against the teams that are checking all 3 boxes. The teams like Raiders, Titans, and Vegas.
I think I hear what you're saying. I guess one pushback would be I think maybe the Titans have a little morale boost. They have a little chutzpah.
A little life.
Yeah, they just won a couple weeks ago. They scored some touchdowns last week. And I don't know, man. Just the Chiefs have been kind of bad, except for Mahomes, like
magic.
Really, yeah, it wasn't like their defense hasn't. They might have had a couple good games, but I could see them just being terrible. Like, you remember when Baltimore lost Lamar, and then they lost a couple other guys, and then the whole team was just the worst team in the NFL for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like, what was that about? And now Kansas City, they're down to 3.5. Tennessee, I don't know. I think.
Well, the other thing is how relevant is Kansas City? The availability is.
Oh, right. Well, it was for one player, and that player, had the Christmas Island spot, and now Kansas City, we'll have the odds in a little bit, but They probably won't be a favorite that day.
I certainly don't. I don't suspect they'll be a favorite against the Broncos.
Yeah. But maybe he
In
could use them
fact, I
against
think they'll
Tennessee.
probably be like a 4 or 5 point underdog.
Yeah, no, that makes sense because the swing, losing Mahomes plus being out of the playoffs, that's going to be costed. They're not going to play the same. I'm going to flick a few pennies onto the Titans, dude, just because we talked about it. Or actually, we don't really need to bet on it. Never mind. Hold on.
Me and you, baby. I think we're probably even now, or I'm up like 0.5 on you, or I don't know.
Yeah, hey, we're even now, but let's handle that off camera, dude. Because I really want to punish
you really want to punish someone.
Your 3-pronged effort coaching training theory. I feel like I got one chance to like get you to put your money up on it, and it's now. Okay. So I got.
So you really want to hammer me on it? The other thing that that we're talking about is, yes, the Kansas City impacts one team, but the availability of Denver is 0. So like the people that were, if you're thinking, oh, now it opens the door to go the other way, not so fast.
Right. It just pushes maybe people toward Minnesota. And it's funny too, thinking about months ago, we did a lot of talking in September and October about Denver and do we save Denver to Christmas and how it might be the ultimate weapon. But there were so many good chances to use them once they got low availability that no one made it kind of interesting. And that Christmas line, man, what is the Dallas-Washington line going to be?
That is like wild, man.
It's the number one thing that swings the values in the field right now, and that's Dallas looked kind of bad a few days ago, right?
What do you have the line at? I have a number in my mind.
Okay. Well, we got the Atlas number, and then we got the Gabe ball knowledge in his heart number. What do you want?
Yeah, I want the Gabe ball knowledge in his heart, because the Atlas number, I don't think that's even going to be in the ballpark.
Well, okay. Well, I got to defend that for a second, because right now, Atlas says -1.5. I know it's going to change in about 2 hours. Okay, just.
I'll take that the line's going to be Cowboys by more of a favorite than 1.5.
My heart says Dallas is going to be 3.5.
I had 3.5, 4 in my head.
But I don't know, man. Like Washington had the bounce back. Dallas got, it wasn't so long ago that we thought Minnesota was like one of the worst teams in the league.
That's true.
And that quarterback's playing all right. I wonder if anyone's thinking about taking Minnesota at the Giants this week in Survivor, even though it's kind of crazy. Just throwing it out there. The Washington line, they beat the Giants. They got a win. They're not the stone worst team. You don't give them any credit for that, though. You're just what's the opposite of a homer when you just hate on the local team just to be that guy, dude? You're a hating homer.
I really do feel that way, and I think you really nailed it. And I'm not even like doing a bit. I think like there is some part of me that takes pleasure in their downfall. I want to go back to the one that has the Chiefs available. I mean, this is like a wackadoo. This is really a wrench in the system, right? Because this dude had it all teed up for the perfect spot to be to essentially scoop the entire contest on Christmas, a Christmas Day miracle.
Yes, well, I mean, that was the plan, but since so many people are going to be on Dallas, Washington, you don't get the pure scoop, right? But you did.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Okay.
So he had the favorite. This is like never happened before in Survivor. We don't even have words for all these things, but yeah, the bottleneck favorite that wasn't on the crowded game, and now he's switched to he's on a bottleneck island underdog.
Yeah.
who's not on the crowded games, and there's no one on the other side of it. So, yeah, pretty big turn of events for the old EV there. But I don't know what could really change. Like, it's just hard to imagine Kansas City being in the game. I mean, like the line, they're not. They're gonna get crushed by Denver without Mahomes, right? Like it seems like they have no chance.
Yeah.
And that other game, Minnesota Detroit, that's gonna be that's just gonna be a sad click when you've been looking forward to being on the favorite for months, and then you got to sign in, you got to click the underdog. There's no one on the other side, so even if you win, it might not do anything. Yeah, that's expensive. Also, looking at the math, there's one entry that has Buffalo, and they keep saying they're going to play him this week against Cleveland, and the line last week was like 7.5, and now it's like 10.
Yeah.
And the Cleveland, like them and the Raiders last week, just both being complete nut low, not a single offering of hope for anyone in any direction. Makes both those teams bigger dogs this week. So the people in Survivor with those teams, 3 Houstons, 1 Buffalo, they all got a nice that might be worth like an extra 50, 100K to them this week. Just those teams looking extra bad. And I also see the Jets or the Saints are kind of on the radar now.
Yeah, I actually wanted to ask you what you think about the Saints. We were just talking about my 3-phase a point of attack here with teams being bad in 3 different phases, and the Jets are certainly one of them. And it's tough because New Orleans not great, but the Jets are really not great.
Yeah, and the Saints, the quarterback is finding his groove.
There's some life there.
He's not bad. He's not bad.
Yeah, I agree.
A couple wins in a row. How many days ago was everyone talking about how Tampa Bay and Carolina are just the 2 best teams in that division, and then the Saints just beat them both 2 in a row. Not that that's they're not winning the Super Bowl, but it does seem like they can beat the Jets. Maybe if the line gets up a little higher, someone might take it. But the thing is, this week, normally in Survivor, it's September, October, you're trying to use a team like the Saints and save one of those good teams, right?
Yeah.
You might do a move like that. But now, at this point in the season, because of all those big favorites, San Fran, Philly, they have weird Week 18 stuff going on, where you don't necessarily want to save Philly the Week 18 anymore. So, using the bad team so you can save Philly, it might be worth way more money to use Philly now and have Saints, or maybe not Saints versus Atlanta, but Saints versus Tennessee or something. Because I think Philadelphia is the best example, because Philadelphia can have it locked up this week. Is that right? They can have their seed locked up so the final 2 weeks don't even matter to them.
Yeah, that makes sense because Giants and Commanders are poop duty piles, and then I think the Cowboys are out of it as well.
Right.
I saw the Cowboys have a 0.2% chance or something like that.
I think it's if Philadelphia loses out and Dallas wins out, Dallas gets it. So meaning Philadelphia is locked in with a win against Washington this week, and they're not going to move up seeds. They're just the winner of the NFC East. They don't get to be the home team or the.
Yeah. Okay. So they'd be 9. Okay, because Cowboys have a tie. So I'm looking at that. So the Eagles would be 9-8, and the Cowboys would be 9-7-1.
If it went 3 losses, 3 wins, or
yeah, but that's quite the parlay.
Yeah, so if you're trying to map and save Philly to the end, that kind of shaky. I think last year there was a game where Sirianni, maybe it was against Giants or Dallas, maybe it was the year before, where they rested players most of the game, but they still won.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if anyone in Survivor has taken one of those games. The good team that's so good they're going to rest players in a few quarters. I don't think that's ever struck Survivor, but this year it seems like it could. Since a lot of people have Jacksonville.
I want to interject on that and go back to a topic that we were talking about earlier, which is like sitting players or resting or taking a knee at when the game's out of hand. Maybe you know the answer. I actually don't know. Are you allowed to sign and like to not dress your players for a game? Like, let's say Eagles wrap it up tomorrow or whatever. I mean, this weekend for week 17 and 18, could they not dress anybody on their first and second string and bring up all practice squatters and guys on the street and just play only them?
I think you run into roster problems if you declare your first and second string on all three phases not eligible to play. I don't think there's anyone left to fill the.
I know, that's what I'm saying. You have to bring up practice squatters and 1 week contracts, all that kind of stuff.
I think you'd still cross over the roster limit if you wanted to sit everyone. Like if you wanted to go complete scrub out week 18, everyone. You have the entire team up in the owner's box, and the field's just
lunching.
NIL money, dude. Get the NIL people out there.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
18. They all look like Phillip Rivers out there throwing.
Bring them all back. Bring back Andre Johnson. Get him in an Eagles uniform.
Oh yeah. Art Monk, dude.
Let him play. Williams. All of them.
I think. We're going to see people sitting out. I'm trying to wrap my head around it before we get there. Like, it seems like there's two types of coaches. Like, there's some coaches who are always going to rest their players. And there's some coaches who are like, oh, it's important for us to keep plugging and not ever give up. So I think Philadelphia coach is under the rest players category.
Do you think that there's man, I would love to ask a player this. Is there like a before the game or even like during the game type of thing where you're like, look, man, the left tackle to the DN, like, we can go at it, but like, don't roll up on me. Don't, we'll agree to like no chop blocks, no nothing crazy for this game. Like, let's just push each other sumo style every play and put on a show for everybody. And maybe you get by once and you get a sack, or do you got any contract bonuses? All right, let's make sure you hit it. But that kind of stuff.
Yeah, because week 18 you got to think that gets in people's heads. But I think the effort stuff, man, thinking about the effort, and I think the only players who won't care about putting effort on tape are the ones with big contracts where they're not
like already solidified guy, like a left tackle that's on a 5-year whatever.
Right, like huge money. But it seems like everyone else, like if you either got a contract year coming up or you're not getting paid as much as you should. And
the problem is when you put in a second stringer, he's going to go bananas because he wants to presumably show that he could start on a different team.
Tried too hard. He tried to. Yeah, I think. I wonder if there's some type of analysis possible. Contract years versus week 18 game tape versus tanking versus trying. I'd love to see some numbers on that stuff because that's every year it's kind of interesting.
There's problem with football. There's 22 people on, and each one has a different situation.
Yeah, but because there's all these players with all these different situations, there's probably some things that kind of average out or that kind of.
I suppose that's probably true.
Like, like fighting, like in UFC, it seems like chaos, and how could you model it? But it turns out it's all the same. It's just two guys in a cage. They try to punch each other in the face. You can model it just fine. So maybe there's some week 18 stuff there. I don't know. don't got. I'm just trying to develop some ball knowledge, man. So can figure out which spreads are going to flip 10 points between now and then.
Again, it almost feels like this week is like a who cares week, kind of like last week was. Last week we had multiple options of double digit spreads. So even me and you were talking. It just kind of felt like who cares. Like this is kind of look past this week, guarantee, lock it up, that kind of thing. And this week kind of feels the same, and it's all in preparation for Christmas.
Yeah, I think the last week kind of being boring or whatever maybe contributed to everyone wanting to share their picks. I'm not sure how much you were on Twitter noticing. I think 7 out of 10 reveals. That I don't think it's going to happen this week. I don't think there's going to be 7 reveals this week. Couple reasons. One of them being the Saturday games. There's some Saturday games.
Yeah.
And the first one starts before the deadline.
Also, the fact that there's like options this week.
You
know what I mean?
Yeah. What's it? 5 or 6 people have a choice.
Have like like the previous week it was like I suppose every week you have an actual choice, but like let's be realistic.
Last week didn't feel like a choice too. I wonder how many people were really like invested.
That's what I mean.
And everyone doing it and thinking, oh, this is going to change everyone's mind, or
yeah,
I don't know. This week, because of its more influx, and it just feels like less people do it. I don't know. Maybe by tomorrow night, Tony's got everyone on his show again, and he's got everyone saying their picks and all that. But I think Thursday and Saturday kind of changed things this week.
So I wonder if does Circa display like the handle on an individual game?
I don't think so.
I would be curious to know, because I would love to see the handle on the Commanders Cowboys game on Christmas.
Oh yeah,
because I feel like if they're extending credit to these folks, and I wonder if it's going to like shoot up, they'll be like, oh, we just got 14 million in wagers on this game.
Dude, that's a funny one. In Survivor, all these hedging spots that have happened over the years, you're never against the other player. Like, it's never a head-to-head thing. Like you're on the Tampa Bay -7.
Right.
But this is like, if you put all the players in the same room, and half of them are like, I want to hedge. The other half's like, I want to hedge on the exact opposite.
I do want to hedge. Well, it sounds like we have a deal here that could be worked out.
Right, a double coincidence of wants.
Yeah, like I bet Circa's like, no, we are not going to allow this meeting to take place.
Right,
you have to pay the VIG to hedge if you want.
Yes, the world is changing, right? Like a few years ago, whatever, but now that prediction markets are everywhere and people are thinking about this stuff, it does kind of change Circa's math, maybe. As long as if they're the ones giving out credit, though, they're always going to get action. They just got to.
Yeah. No one wants to show up with their big bag of cash.
Dude, it does seem like the dream situation just in this industry. If you can give someone credit and make up the line that they have to take,
and you're holding their potential payment.
Right.
So there's no risk of non-pay.
Like, if you're Circa, can you be like, okay, you guys all have $1 million credit. Dallas is -4, Washington -2.
Yeah, exactly. I was playing in the poker game, and they were telling me some of the older guys are like 55, 60, and they were saying in college when they would bet, if a game was pick'em, it would be like -1.5, -2 or something. I was like, what on earth is that?
Both sides?
Yeah. Yeah, it was like -2, -2. I was like, holy shit. Can we go back 40 years?
Dude, whatever college bookie thought of that, I'm
Genius.
sure they didn't leave college in debt, uh,
Yeah.
in student
I
debt
was
or
like,
whatever.
-2, -2. That is insane.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I forget what we were talking about. Oh, yeah, I guess Circa doing that. Not that they would, but it's funny to think about. Hey, so Mike, I got this list here of stuff we were supposed to talk about today. I
Yeah,
think we
sure.
did a pretty good
Let's hit
job,
him.
dude.
Hit him quick.
Dude, I think we hit it all.
Oh, we did.
I mean, we touched on the NFL replay rant just enough that I feel like we don't got to touch that again.
Okay.
Maybe one just kind of ball thinking thought is there's too many games in the season. The last game never matters. Like it rarely like week 18 having a single game that matters is like reason to celebrate, right? It's like, oh, these one or two games are the ones that matter.
Sure. Okay. I was going to
And
give a dummy reason and say, like,
what?
you're always going to, even if you shorten the season, you're going to have games that are relevant and irrelevant always. But you're less likely to because the import of a individual game is going to go up as you shorten the season. And there's
Yeah.
less ability for a team to generate a lead.
Yes. So you're coming around?
So this I'm coming around to being in favor of your point here.
Yeah, maybe they need a second bye week, or maybe they need big bonuses for making the playoffs or something. I don't know. But
I saw some clip of someone from Barstool saying like they need an incentive for to make these games relevant and the people try hard all the way through the season. And they were saying one idea was like if you finish at a certain level, then you're outside of the draft pick. You're outside of the top four. So if you go, basically, you need 3 wins to qualify for the top draft pick spot, something like that. But I was like, that I don't know that was really well thought out because what if you get to week 16 and you're 0-16 or whatever, then you're out of it anyway.
I like the idea of making it a different type of competition, but I don't think it should be for draft picks. I don't think you can tell
that's too penal.
And it's kind of like, okay, NFL veteran, you have to play hard and practice hard.
Yeah.
18-year-old, and he's like, I don't give a, who cares?
Yeah. You think I give a shit about some new guy coming to the team?
Right. Maybe they just need to change the stakes of week 18 so they're playing for straight up cash, dude, or something. I don't know. Like, what if can they? I mean, we're going through. Sorry, I'm getting so excited about this idea, dude.
Well, the NBA does it with the tournament thing, the in-season tournament.
Right. They need to kind of capture some of that vibe. So week 18, like for example, Dallas Giants week 18. That if those teams were trying, that's like a real interesting game. And of course, they're going to try somewhat. They're not going to not try, but I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just for people in Survivor. I'm just trying to fight for the teams that you save to have a reason to try
for your
hard.
integrity, the sanctity of the game.
Yes, like who's going to get to week 18 with a good team and not even be able to use them because they're sitting. I don't know. I guess we're going to see how that plays out. And on that note, Mikey, I'm out of subjects, dude. I'm out of ball talking, dude.
All right, man. The next week is the big week.
Next week's a big one. Oh yeah, man. Just thinking about people playing on Christmas and like how you kind of can't get around the fact it's going to change your entire Christmas day. And everyone, Christmas Day, usually you see other people. You might spend time with some family, but like you got to explain to them why you're going to be on one today, or do you hide from them? Do you celebrate Christmas a week later? Hey, Mike, are you free to talk about it next Tuesday? You're not doing anything? All right, cool, man.
For sure.
We'll have it all dialed up, and
I love that we're just brushing this week aside. Lock this week up. Next week we got a big week.
well, this week, man, there's a lot of decisions. We can see some cool stuff happen. Maybe someone gets some courage down on the Saints. Maybe the Raiders can take out Houston, man. Maybe the Raiders are better than we think.
That would be a big change in the standings.
Yeah, all right, Mikey. Have a good Tuesday, man.
All right, brother.
Good luck till next week, man.
Okay, see you.